States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we get a roll call, please?
Christopher Mellon, not here. Pete Gibb, yes. William Byers,
Yes.
Tim Fortier.
Yes.
We have 3 here, so it's a quorum.
From what I was just told, we should have a replacement for our next meeting.
We should?
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
for Rick. We have minutes from the last meeting of October. Anyone like to make a motion on those?
I'll make a motion to accept the meetings from the last meeting.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None shown. Too much stuff.
It's okay.
All right.
Communication?
Do we have any communications?
No, not at this time.
All right, thank you very much. I will call the cases by case number and name of petitioner. I would ask that you come forward, state your name and address for public record, at which time you will be given an opportunity to present your case accompanied by any professionals that you may have with you. After that, we will have a staff report pertaining to each case presented this evening. We will then have a question and answer period for board members. We will then open the floor for comments, not questions, from the audience. If you are desirous of speaking for or against any case, we ask that you please sign into the registry in the center aisle. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. The board will then render a decision either for or against, ask for a deferral for more information or other reasons which we will state, or the board will make no recommendation to the town council. I'd ask that you please silence any communication devices you have at this time. Thank you. Our first case is Z23E20-1124 DVG team. Greg Loring?
Lorick, actually, there's no N, I know it was on there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Located at 1700 West US Highway 30. Special exemption approval from section 21-136 on 1.05 acres in a C3 highway commercial zoning district to allow a car wash.
Good evening, board. Yes, my name is Greg Lorig with DVG team. I'll apologize right off the bat. 1155 Troutwine Road, Crown Point, Indiana. I will apologize for my voice. I'm getting over something from last week, so bear with me, please. Also here tonight is Frank Hatami from Drive and Shine. DVG is petitioning as the applicant on behalf of Drive and Shine, who is the proposed developer for this project. We're the surveyor and civil engineer for Drive and Shine. So we're here for this first item on the agenda to request a special exception approval to allow for a new car wash to be installed in C3 zoning located at 1700 West US Highway 30. There should be a project location exhibit in your packet, and I also have that on the board I've put up here in front of you. If I need to move the board closer to anyone, let me know. The site is currently already the home of an existing operating car wash called Happy Car Wash. The site is located on the north side of US 30, just west of Grant Street. It is in between the U-Haul self-storage property and a multi-unit commercial building that has Mobility Works, EMCO Total Car Care, Avis and Budget Car Rentals, and S&S Auto and Truck Accessories. At this point, I do want to pass out some photos to you just so you can see what the existing property looks like. I apologize this wasn't in your packet, but I felt like this would be helpful. Thank
that the one on Broadway and Crown Point?
Yes, it is. So, yeah, just glancing through these pictures just to explain them. So this is north side of US 30 looking to the east. You can kind of barely see it. The black sign in the background is for the Happy Car Wash. It is kind of tucked back behind the U-Haul property where they park these trucks, and their actual office building you can actually see on the second page. So it's kind of tucked off behind. It's not the most visible site for us. Basically, Drive and Shine is intending to purchase this property. And then if you look on the, I guess, the fourth photo, you can see on the left side where it says detailing. You can also see on the site plan, that is kind of just a little quadrant of the building that sticks out further than the rest. The intent is that that little piece of the detailing section would get demolished, and then the rest of the car wash would just get upgraded and remodeled. The existing business is not doing all that well, so that's kind of why they're looking to sell to Drive and Shine and have Drive and Shine redevelop this. Moving on, I guess I do want to just stress that this will be a significant upgrade as far as what this facility looks like, including new vacuum equipment and so on. And we'll get into that for sure. If you do take a look in your packet, there is a site plan, which I'll flip over on the board real quick too. There's just a few things I would like to point out on the site plan. So the circulation would generally be the same. So cars would drive up the east side of the building towards the north end. Then they would pass through a new proposed payment kiosk before they U-turn back into the car wash. Employee parking would be in the rear. After cars pass through the car wash to the south like they do now, they could utilize the vacuums that would face the frontage road, similar to the existing conditions, or they can use the new vacuums that we're proposing on the west side of the building. Moving on from the site plan, there's some typical elevation views that have been provided. This project has not yet been fully designed, but these elevation views are very similar to what the end product would look like. Part of that upgrade to the building would be installing a new tower. Right now, that is proposed as about 30 feet tall. I think the drawing shows it at 29 foot 4 inches. It's possible we might go a little higher with that, but that's to be determined. I know the maximum height in this C3, I think, is 70 feet. But what you're looking at is right now what we're thinking of doing. So apologize, I guess, for all the detailed background, but it does relate to the forthcoming variance request should the board approve the special exception use. So in summary for this first item, there's already an existing operational car wash on this C3 property. Drive and Shine intends to hopefully purchase it and remodel it, significantly upgrade. And, so we think it makes sense that we should have a special exception since there's a car wash already here. So with that, I take any questions, related to the special exception.
Thank you. Staff report, please.
Petitioner is requesting special exception approval from section 21-136 on 1.05 acres in an existing C3 highway commercial zoning district to allow a car wash and outdoor vacuums at 1700 West US Highway 30. The existing property is already an operational car wash, but the petitioner seeks to redevelop the Happy car wash into a drive and shine with improved car wash and facilities. Most notably, Drive and Shine is designed with modern technologies and environmental standards that ensure proper waste disposal, minimum environmental impact, and minimum disruption to neighbors and properties. For example, Drive and Shine offers heated concrete pavement, an advanced oil grease separation system, and a water cycling techniques along with efficient drainage solutions to prevent, minimize environmental impact. Drive and Shine offers an advanced environmental regulations and implements advanced technologies that minimize negative impact on the public health and safety. Drive and Shine enhances the neighborhood aesthetics and are meticulously planned to minimize traffic congestion and promote customer safety. For these reasons, petition submits that special exception should be granted because the zoning ordinance is a permissible special exception use with the zoning district that is applicable to the property. Additional approval will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, and moral comfort or general welfare. The special acceptance use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other properties in the immediate vicinity and impair property values within the neighborhood. Approval will not impede the normal or orderly development and improvement of the surrounding properties for the use permitted in the district. Drive and Shine will provide adequate utilities, access road, drainage, and other necessary site improvements. The hours of operation will be Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. There will be a maximum of 6 employees per shift. There's a public necessity for special exception approval in that the business cannot exist practically and efficiently without the approval of the special exception. For this petitioner only, at this location only, and for this use only.
Thank you. I will bring it to the board for any questions.
I see on here that you're only open Monday through Friday and then Sunday. You're not open Saturday?
No, it's Monday,
I'm s-
apologize, Monday through Saturday.
It's Monday through Saturday? I apologize. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Monday through Saturday.
I just kind of wondering why you
let
weren't.
me just,
Best day.
let me change
Exactly.
that before, yeah.
How many vehicles do you anticipate coming through a day?
Well, so we have the different locations, and we are equipped to wash about 180 cars an hour. Most of the time.
I think you may have to
Oh, I'm
speak
sorry.
directly.
Into the microphone. Your name, please, also.
Yes. My name is Franco Tami with Drive and Shine. And so we anticipate, in our tunnels, after we build our tunnels, we can do around, with our expertise, which is the kiosk, we can do about 180 cars an hour. But we're equipped for that, okay? And we train our people to be able to do that. But of course, we don't know how many cars we're gonna wash in that site, but we are ready to wash 180 cars an hour if we have to.
I guess my concern would be, there's probably only room for about 8 to 10 cars before you come onto the street. And there's a U-Haul next door. There's a lot of traffic back and forth with people moving in and out. So I was just wondering if that's gonna be a problem or an issue.
Well, that's why I said that we're equipped to wash 180 cars an hour, so that means that
Yes.
we can just process those cars as quickly as possible. We don't have, any backups, I would say most of the time, on our sites.
And then on the west side, where you're gonna create the new vacuum locations,
Yes?
they will exit through that other lot. So is that a problem? Because that's another property owner. True.
Yeah, there's, we plan on keeping the main entrance out to the frontage road, but yes, after they go through there, they will have to exit out to the left. There's existing ingress egress easements with the property next door that'll be maintained.
Are there any other questions? none, I'll open it to the audience. Anyone like to speak for or against the petitioner? Anyone like to speak for or against this petitioner? And one last time, anyone like to speak for or against the petitioner? Seeing none, I will bring it back to the board for a motion.
I make a motion to approve Z 32E201124, special exception to allow car wash with the conditions, this petition only, at this location only, for this use only.
I'll second the motion.
We have a first and a second. Can we get a vote, please?
Pete Gibb, yes. William Byers,
Yes.
Tim Fortier,
Yes.
3-0.
So that just goes to us, right?
The special exception will go to the town council.
Oh, it does, okay.
The variance, the upcoming one, will just go to us.
Just go to us. Thank you. Which will bring us to our next case, Z33V7-1124 DVG team, Greg Loring.
Lorick,
Sorry.
I'll get it right eventually.
okay.
Located at 1700 West US 30. Variance from development standard approval from section 21-243 on 1.05 acres in a C3 highway commercial zoning district to allow a minimum drive aisle width and parking space size variance from development standard approval from section 21-10B on 1.05 acres in a C3 highway commercial zoning district to allow a vacuum equipment enclosure within 10-foot of building variance from development standard approval from section 21-10D on 1.05 acres in a C3 highway commercial zoning district to increase the height of the proposed kiosks, variance from standard development's approval from section 21-12B on 1.05 acres in a C3 highway commercial zoning district, and to allow a vacuum equipment enclosure to be placed in the front yard setback to allow a car wash. So we're looking at four variances from developmental standard. All right, I will let you fill us in on that then.
All right, again, Greg Lorick, DVG team, 1155 Troutwine Road. So yes, this is for the same project, obviously. We are requesting 4 development standards variances. Our submitted application includes detailed findings of fact as to why each of these will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare, and will not adversely affect adjacent property use and values, and why the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulty. I'd just like to summarize each of these, why we need them, and what the hardships or practical difficulties are. So for the first one, Chapter 21, Article 7, Section 21-243, parking spaces. The ordinance requires a drive aisle width of 15 feet for 30-degree one-way parking stalls and a minimum angled parking space size of 9 foot by 19 foot. Our project is requesting a variance to allow a 13-foot drive aisle width instead of the 15, and then a parking space size of 9 by 18 instead of 9 by 19. The reason we are requesting this variance requirement is because we have the hardship of just physical space that we have on our site. There is just a concrete X distance between our edge of our building and the property line. As you can see on the site plan, the curb for the drive aisle there is already right on the property line. So to fit in the angled parking, vacuum equipment, and the drive aisle just within the space that we're going to have left, that is why we are requesting this variance requirement. I will note that we have run some truck turn analysis movements with large pickup trucks And even with these modified dimensions, they can still back out and get down through the driveway, no problem. So that is number one. The second one, Chapter 21, Article 1, Section 2110B, basically that ordinance requirement says that you cannot have a accessory structure within 10 feet of the principal building. Our project is proposing a vacuum equipment enclosure, small building within 10 feet of the principal building. You can see that on the site plan in the northwest corner. We are proposing this enclosure building there. We want to make it clear that Drive and Shine does not have to do a vacuum enclosure building, but it's something they want to do. This helps keep the noise down from the vacuums, and it's just more aesthetically pleasing to have them in a nice brick structure and roof with something that looks consistent with the rest of the building, as opposed to just having the equipment out in the open. If you look at the last page of the photos that I handed out, that is the Crown Point location. And I apologize, it's not the most crisp photo, but you can see all their vacuums out in the front, and you can kind of see the piping connecting to the vacuum equipment enclosure building. So it's a brick structure with a roof that looks nice, and again, keeps the noise down and keeps the equipment out of sight, just by way of fact of where we're putting our vacuum spaces. It has to be close to those, and it just has to go there in the corner by the building. So that's why we're requesting that one. Next up, Chapter 21, Article 1, Section 2110D. No accessory building shall have more than 1 story nor exceed 17 feet in height. Actually says unless otherwise permitted as an accessory to business and manufacturing use or to authorize special exception use. So, I mean, maybe that could come into play with the special exception, but we did want to include this anyways. So as I mentioned, there would be a payment kiosk structure in the northeast corner of the property. So as folks drive through along the building, actually, if you wanted to, it's on the site plan, but it would be immediately northeast of the corner of the building. And if you look in your packets, there is a elevation view of that you should have. I don't think there's much color on that one, but again, this is a classy looking brick structure. And these are all standard designs that Drive and Shine does. As shown, which is their standard height, it's 22 foot, 6 inches tall. So it is a little bit more than 17 feet, but we need that for tall vehicle building clearances and to get a nice functioning and aesthetically pleasing sloped roof for drainage. And then our last variance we are requesting is Chapter 21, Article 1, Section 2112B. Structures permitted as encroachments in yards and courts. We do have a second vacuum enclosure proposed in the front yard setback. You can see that it's in the southwest corner of the site. Again, these need to be installed next to the vacuum locations. And I guess I do want to make note that the U-Haul business immediately to the west of us, you can see on the site plan, their actual office building is well encroaching into the setback. So again, this is not something that we have to do. You can look at what Happy Car Wash has out there now, and it's more freestanding equipment that's going to be noisy, and, not the most aesthetically pleasing. So, again, it's a matter of function and looking good and having a consistent product between the different Drive and Shine locations. With that, I think I'd be happy to answer any questions about each of those.
Sorry, I'm going to have to ask you for another staff report.
That's okay. Petitioner is seeking a variance from developmental standards approval for multiple sections, starting with section 21-43 in the C3 Highway Commercial Zoning District to allow a minimum 13-foot drive aisle width and a minimum parking space 9 by 18 at 1700 West US Highway. The property proposed to be redevelopment is narrow relative to what is required to construct the facility and provide traffic circulation necessary to safely and efficiently move customers and employees through the site. The proposed minimum 13-foot aisle width and 18 by 9 angle parking spaces allow for the efficient movement of vehicles through the facility while allowing the proposed additional vacuum spaces and equipment to be installed. Petitioner seeks a variance from developmental standards approval from 21-10B to allow vacuum equipment enclosure to be located within 10 foot of the principal building. The vacuum enclosure needs to be within 10 foot of the principal building to ensure proper functioning of the self-service vacuums used by customers and allow for safe, efficient traffic flow throughout the site. Petitioner requests a variance from developmental standards from section 21-10D to increase the height of the proposed kiosk structure to 22 feet 6 inches. Drive Shine has a standard design for kiosk structures for all locations. The height is necessary to provide clearance for vehicles and an aesthetically pleasing sloped roof that facilitates roof drainage to gutters and downspouts. And lastly, petitioner is requesting a variance from developmental standards from 21-12B to allow the proposed vacuum equipment enclosure to be placed within the front yard setback. The Drive and Shine has standard design for vacuum equipment enclosures to all locations. The vacuum equipment enclosure must be in the front yard setback in order to ensure the self-service vacuums are operating properly and allow for safe and efficient traffic flow throughout the site. There's a public necessity for the variance from developmental standard in that the establishment cannot operate safely and efficiently and be aesthetically pleasing without the requested approval. Strict application of the zoning application will result in practical difficulty.
Thank you. Bring it to the board for questions. I have a question on the width of the parking spaces.
Sure.
That's not in the vacuum section, that is just the parking,
It's specifically for the angled parking, which will have vacuums next to it on the west side of the building.
so people will be using vacuums in those spaces,
Yes.
and that will give them enough room for people to open their doors simultaneously next to each other?
We believe so.
Is that standard at the other drive-in shines that you have in Crown Point?
Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, we try to have them all the same. We do.
So they are 13 at the Crown Point store also?
I think so. Because by the time that you open the doors, yeah, that's plenty of room.
Is your, 6.5 foot, no, 6 foot width on a car?
Like 6 to 7 probably, yeah.
I'm just, trying to think
Right.
if you have all your spots filled and people are getting in arguments about banging each other's windows or doors with their,
Oh, I don't think that's gonna happen.
No,
No, that will not happen. Because you have plenty.
you haven't worked with a lot of people then.
Depends what kind of car you got, small car, big car.
Right.
the sign that you propose, is it, how much larger is it?
That's the next one.
Oh, that's the next one.
Sorry.
I must have cruised down. Okay, I'll leave that for the next time.
Yeah. Any other questions from the board? Seeing none, I'll open it to the public. Anyone like to speak for or against this petitioner? Anyone like to speak for or against the petitioner? Anyone like to speak for or against the petitioner? Seeing none, I will bring it back to the board for a motion.
Okay, I make a motion for approval on Z33 V7 1127
Q4.
with the 4 variances. Variance of development standards to allow minimum drive aisle width and parking space. Variance from development standards to allow vacuum equipment enclosure within 10 feet of building. Variance from development standards to increase the height of the proposed kiosks. Variance from development standards to allow a vacuum equipment enclosure to be placed in the front yard setback to allow a car wash.
I'll second that.
We have a first and a second. Can we get a vote, please?
Pete Gabsess, William Byers,
Yes.
Tim Fortier,
Yes.
approved. 3-0, Chairman.
All right, our next case is Z34U V8-1124 DVG Team, located at 1700 West US Highway 30. Variance from use approval from section 21-189 subsection 8 on 105 acres in a C3 highway commercial zoning district to allow an LED sign. Your last hurrah.
All right, thank you again. Greg Lorig, DVG Team, 1155 Troutwine Road, Crown Point. Yes, so we are requesting a variance of use approval for the ordinance reference. That ordinance says, signs which contain, include, or are illuminated by any flashing or intermittent or moving light or lights are prohibited, except those giving public service information such as time and temperature or weather. This project includes a freestanding sign, including a changeable illuminated LED sign that will display current promotions. If you take a look in your handout, there is a preliminary design for our sign there. There's also a very similar sign shown on the last page of the photos from the Crown Point location. The LED portion of the sign will increase visibility to adjacent motorists on 81st Avenue and US 30. Sign messaging will not scroll or change rapidly as to distract drivers. The brightness of the drive and shine signs actually also adjusts depending on the level of daylight. I think as everyone here knows, the US 30 commercial corridor is very crowded with many existing businesses that have LED signs. These are including but not limited to Nick's Liquors, the Auto Fix Duke of Oil combo, Lake County Public Library, Duke of Oil, Gord's Food Services, Wendy's, and many others. LED signs are consistent in this zoning district and the US 30 corridor. As I noted before earlier in the meeting, this property is not in a great location and is very difficult to see, especially from the east. Access and visibility are the most important things to Drive and Shine when they look to develop a site. The site has good access to US 30, but the visibility is not the best. This LED sign will be critical for us to attract customers, given all the other businesses up and down the road. So with that, I'm again happy to answer any questions.
Staff report, please.
The petitioner is requesting a variance of use approval from section 21-189-8 in a C3 highway commercial zoning district to allow a freestanding, changeable, illuminated LED message sign at 1700 West US Highway 30 that will display current promotions. The 200-square-foot sign will have a 40-square-foot message center. The LED sign is necessary to improve visibility of the site for motorists and to attract customers to the business in a crowded corridor along US 30 with numbers of business with similar illuminated LED message signs. There's a public necessity for the variance of use approval in that the establishment will be limited to a number of patrons it can attract.
Thank you. One of the things we always ask all of our sign applications for is that if necessary, Merrillville be allowed to put messages up on your LED display or Amber Alerts, emergency situations, which I don't see stated here, if that's something you're agreeable to.
And town events.
I do apologize. I'm sorry, what was that again?
So we will ask that you promote our town events such as our Fourth of July parade, those kind of things, and also Amber Alerts and other things.
Does if everybody else does it, of course. we're gonna-
Everybody else does.
Yeah.
It's a part of the approval.
Yeah, then we
But
work,
we just have to hear you say that you would do it.
of course, yes, we'll, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Of course, we'll work with you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, of course.
I've driven past that 1,000 times. I didn't know there was a car wash there. So I think you guys definitely need some signage. I didn't know there was a car wash there. I thought it was part of the U-Haul.
I used to go there with Mr. Soft.
Oh,
It's been a long time.
That's when they actually wiped your car down.
yeah. Any questions from the board?
Okay, I'll get back to my original question, which I was asking because there was a picture of the sign in the last one, so it kind of got off track. But what, in reference to the sign that's there, how much taller and how much wider is this one?
Compared to the existing sign, I don't have any measurements on that one specifically. It is pretty tall.
So
You're
according
gonna put a
to,
whole new structure in?
you mean the sign itself?
Yeah.
5 by 15.
So the square footage of the sign is gonna be 200 square feet. The height of the sign looks like it's
25?
25
By
feet
15.
10. The code is 30.
I was just trying to reference what was there before, how much bigger this one is.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it
I mean-
falls within a regulation.
It comes within the
square
code, it comes within, the only thing that he's getting, asking for approval for is the LED portion. The other one is 200 square feet, that's what the code says. And the height is like 35 feet for a pylon sign. I think that's,
And that's,
So we could go up to 35 feet?
I think I'll check the code. It's either 30, 35 for a pylon sign.
It's on that picture.
But this one is,
Maxed out.
you're at 25, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
25.
But now, you're asking for approval for this, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I gotta ask the question. What made you do the car wash there, considering that you got Crew Car Wash right down the street, which does a pretty big business?
Well, in my last actually venture, we competed with, I was in the video store business, and we competed with the Blockbuster, which was a giant. Competition makes you better, okay, makes you stronger. It gives a better product to the community. So, Cruise, we compete with them, actually in Fort Wayne, we compete with them
Do you?
in South Bend area. We know how to compete with them, and we feel like that our product is more superior than that, because our tunnel is actually longer, We use a better friendly soap. You know, our soap are extremely gentle. And we put a lot more equipment. Like, our tunnels are about 150 feet long. Their tunnels is usually about 100.
Okay,
They got 50 foot of difference of washing and drying in our tunnels than theirs. So in our case, we can use much gentle soap. They have to use a more, actually much aggressive soap to actually get the dirt off the cars. So that's the difference.
okay.
So, you know, so we're not scared of them.
Yeah.
But it's this thing that, you know, competition is good.
Well, I'll try it, provided that you have dog treats, because they give dog treats.
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay, then I'm in.
We do that too.
That'll make a
dog's-
difference. Dog
We do dog treats, cat treats, you know, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever it takes.
Sounds good.
I won't recruit, they ripped my license.
Well, I've got a story I'll tell you afterwards about that, too.
Any other questions from the board?
Nope.
Seeing none, I'll ask the one person in the audience, would you like to speak for or against this petitioner? Anyone else for or against this petitioner a third time? Anyone like to speak for or against this petitioner? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for a vote, or a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Z34U V8-1124 for this use, for this permission, for the sign as it is stated for the LED.
I'll second.
And the petitioner did agree to allowing Merrillville access to the sign when requested.
That word.
We have a first and a second. Can we get a vote, please?
Pete Gibb, yes. William Byers.
Yes?
Tim Fortier.
Yes.
It's approved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, board.
Thank you, Mike.
How soon are you going to open?
Where
So
do
two,
we get our discount coupons from?
What's your schedule for construction, you think?
I can't say for certain. It's probably next year.
Open in 25?
Haji, the owner of Drive and Shine, he's been building a lot of these, so sometimes he has to shuffle them around, but hopefully next year.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's good. Thank you. Yeah, that's good to have a good car wash there.
so, Greg, the, use variance and a special exception will go to the town council. I will let you know when that meeting is. Thank you,
You too, thank you.
Sheila. You too.
All right, our next case is Z35E21-1124. Kyra Steely? Did I get that one right at least? No. No, I'm terrible with names, I apologize.
That's okay. My name is Kahari Steele.
Petitioner and George Nova
Nova Groder.
Grota, owner, located at 8374 Louisiana Street. Special exemption approval from section 21-136 in a C3 highway commercial zoning district on 1.389 acres to allow a child care center. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. My name is Kahari Steele. Home address is 3681 Virginia Street, that's Gary. And I am requesting a special exemption, approval from you all for my child care center, Little Legacies Academy, at that address, that 8374 Louisiana Street. We are directly next door to an adult day center, Indiana Mentor, and other hotels. Several hotels are in the area. I will need to, as far as the exterior goes, I will need to put in a fenced outdoor play area. For the inside, there won't need to be any major construction, so that doesn't, I guess, damage or change anything structurally, or pose, I guess, a danger, or change the morale of the businesses in the area or next door to me. Excuse me, guys, I'm really nervous. Yeah, so outside of that outdoor play space, there shouldn't need to be any other major construction. It's mostly cosmetic. And I'm not sure if I hit everything that you guys need, but I'm open to any questions that you have about the business or what I need to do in order to open it.
Okay?
Yeah.
If we need a staff report, please?
Petitioner is seeking special exception approval from Section 21-136 in the C3 Highway Commercial Zoning District to allow a child care facility at 8374 Louisiana Street. Petitioner has 6 years of experience in elementary education and human services field. Little Legacies Academy LLC is a new company whose mission statement is to provide a nurturing, high-quality, early childhood education that fosters academic, social, and emotional growth while supporting families through comprehensive program, dual language learning, and flexible core ops. Little Legacies will provide early childhood care for children ages 0 through 5, along with extended services for children 6 to 12 years old. Based on the square footage, Little Legacies can be licensed for up to 90 children. Little Legacy places a strong emphasis in kindergarten readiness while adopting a creative curriculum tailored to foster holistic development, equipping children with essential skills for future academic success. This approach is used to create a well-rounded early learning experience. Additionally, petitioner submits that the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the proposed special exception use will not be detrimental or endanger the public health, morals, and general welfare in accordance with the comprehensive plan, because the property and business will be regulated by both the state and local laws, ordinance, thereby ensuring the safety of patrons in and around the facility. The proposed special exception will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood, because the property and business is aligned with the purpose of those businesses already in the immediate area. This property has been approved as a daycare before. The establishment of the proposed special exception will not impede the surrounding properties for the uses currently permitted in the district, because Little Legacies LLC will follow local and state laws. Adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities are already in place. The location of the business allows adequate ingress and egress, which will minimize traffic congestion. The proposed special exception shall, in all other respects, conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it is located, and there is a public necessity for the proposed special exception in that the establishment cannot exist without the requested approval. The hours of operation are 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. with 7 employees. The daycare will have safe drop-off and pick-up procedures. For this petitioner only, at this location only, and for this use only.
Thank you. Had some long reports tonight.
Yeah.
I will bring it to the board for questions.
I got one question. It says door 2, family entrance, door 3 opens directly to playground. How about door 1?
Yes, door 1 is actually utilized by Indiana Mentor next door, the Adult Day Center.
I assume this is Monday through Friday, right?
Yes, it's Monday through Friday.
I guess I'm not familiar with this building, Louisiana. Is that, you know, it's Mississippi, Colorado? Is it Louisiana after that?
Louisiana is where the hotels and stuff are,
Oh, back there.
yeah.
You know, didn't get a chance to check this.
I have a question regarding, the state regulates how many people you have to have based on the age and number of children. So when you're looking at 0 to 5 years old, what's the age limit cutoff of, say, what does the state say you have to have personnel to watch a 1-year-old or a 5-year-old?
Yes, so that's a really good question. It is, the ratio per the state is 1 to 4 for infants. It's 1 to 5 for toddlers, so that's up into 30 months. And after that, it's 1 to 10, so for 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, which is that pre-K age, is 1 to 10.
And you're looking at possibly having 90, the square footage allows for 90 students.
Yeah, so I haven't actually had the state be able to come out yet until I, hoping that I am approved for the special exemption. But based on the square footage, we do need 35 square feet at least per child. So based on the square footage that I do have in there, I believe it'll be between 80 and 90 children.
But with infants, you're going to require cribs?
Yes, we can actually do cribs up until 2. After that, there will be cots available for our toddlers and pre-K kids.
Okay, and 7 people's enough to staff that many?
It'll be 7 children to 1 adult. Yep, so at least 7 children. I'm sorry, I remember I told you, Sheila, about the 7 employees. But no, it'll be at least 7 starting off. But of course, as we grow, I will make sure that we are properly staffed and in line with state regulations and local regulations.
That was a long way of getting to my question that you answered perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, awesome.
Any other questions from the board?
Nope.
Seeing none, there's no one in the audience to ask.
No.
So I will bring it to the board for a recommendation.
I'll make a motion to approve Z35E21-1124 for this use for the child care center at this location for this person, or this company only.
I'll second that.
We have a first and a second. Can we get a vote, please?
Mr. Pete Gipp, yes. William Byers?
Yes?
Tim Portier?
Yes.
3-0 approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I will let you know when you go before,
Town council.
the board, the town council.
Got it.
I'll call you.
All right.
Okay.
So
You're
she can
welcome.
reuse it.
Oh,
Sheila, would you like these for reuse?
I would,
I'm
because
sure you would.
I do. If I can have those back.
Seeing that that is our last one for the evening, can we get in
Make a motion to
we have a
adjourn.
motion for adjournment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.